CBS 13 is on your side at 11.
Good evening, folks. First tonight at 11 on our doorstep and packing a punch, Hurricane Lee on track to bring us wind, rain, powerful waves, possible power outages beginning really in just a few hours. Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Greg Lagerquist. This has been a massive storm. It is on line to make landfall in Nova Scotia, but with wide-ranging impacts, yes, for us. Let's start with Chief Meteorologist Charlie Lepresti for the latest track and latest information on this storm, Charlie.
Yeah, the latest information, Greg, is just a few minutes old here. This is coming in from the Hurricane Center here. It still maintains 80-mile-per-hour winds, still a minimal hurricane here. It looks pretty ragged, though, doesn't it? Notice the big comma shape to it right there. It's moving into northern latitudes, and it's transforming into a storm that we usually see as our nor'easters. You know, the wind field is expanding. The rain is expanding. It's almost moving into our area. Also notice that little jog off to the east it took over the last several hours. Hurricane Center, two things. One, it's expected to go right over Nova Scotia, the western tip right there, and into the Bay of Fundy. Also, by morning, it is expected to be post-tropical. To be honest with you, it probably already is post-tropical. That really doesn't affect our weather, or any changes, I should say, in our forecast because it's such a big, sprawling storm. We're going to get a little bit of rain, not much at all, for most of southern and western Maine. Eastern Maine, a different story. But the wind is still going to be a big story. So I think power outage is going to lead our headlines. We'll get gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. There probably will be some peak gusts, especially over eastern zones, that get a little bit higher than 50 miles per hour, areas in elevation as well, and also areas that have great northern exposures, like some of the peninsulas, even Cape Elizabeth, for instance, the south side of maybe Sebago Lake. You get that wind that comes in off of Sebago Lake with a long fetch. You could get some pretty strong winds right there. Here we are, 7 a.m. though. Notice how that storm transitions to, well, a post-tropical system. We actually have some sunny breaks late in the day. Tomorrow's one of those days where southern and western Maine, it's not going to rain that much, but it's going to be windy. It might just be cloudy, sunny breaks here and there, but it's going to stay windy. A very unique storm in that sense. Full sun returns on Sunday. Sunday looks great. Okay, so frequent gusts, 40 to 50 miles per hour. Best chance for getting over 50 miles per hour will be mid-coast and down east, and some of the peninsulas there as well. We'll talk about this and the timing in more detail in just a few minutes. Greg, we'll send it back to you now.
All right, thanks again, Charlie. We'll see you soon. And as Charlie just showed us, bigger impacts down east, and new tonight, Acadia National Park has closed all of its campgrounds. That happened at 10 o'clock this morning. They have added more closures as well. Like us, the park officials have been tracking this storm for days. They expect trees could come down throughout the park. It might not be possible for emergency crews to reach everybody who may need help. They say it's also possible waves could crash over some of the areas along Park Loop Road and wash people out into the ocean. We saw that in 2009 from the edges of Hurricane Bill. So that entire one-way section of the Park Loop Road closed at 7 o'clock tonight.
Our primary concern is making sure that visitors and our staff have the tools that they need to stay safe during the storm.
Now we'll continue to track that and how people can stay safe and up to date, and you can get more information on their website as well. Meantime, if you're planning to travel by plane this weekend, make sure you check your flight status before you head out the door. Here's a live look at the Portland Jetport's website. Just posting an update in that yellow banner there a short time ago saying about half of all flights scheduled for tomorrow are now canceled because of anticipated crosswinds, those winds right out of the north. That's not good for the Jetport. Up until just a couple of hours ago, the Jetport was only expecting minimal impacts. That has changed. The Jetport says it will release another update tomorrow morning. And CBS 13, we will be with you throughout this storm. Join us live tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. As our team of meteorologists track Lee. Our crews will be in the field bringing you real-time updates on conditions. Our coverage continues noon to 1, then 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., all of that right here on CBS 13. You can also watch us on air and online. We'll be streaming live throughout the day at WGME.com. New tonight, 2 men and a dog are rescued from the Kennebec River in Bath. Bath rescue crews are saying about 5:45 today, they responded to the river for reports of a sailboat that had taken on water and capsized. Crews say security from Bath Ironworks took their patrol boat out to the men and the dog who were clinging to the boat, and they were able to pull them out of the water. They also say the men were not wearing life jackets, and the situation really could have been a lot worse if that BIW boat had not been nearby. People living in tents in Portland, no doubt, facing uncertainty tonight because of Lee. They face an uncertain future regardless, though, as the city continues to close down encampments. In fact, there was a rally tonight to try to stop those shutdowns. CBS 13's Asia Reed tells us what homeless advocates are saying.
Stop the sweeps is the message echoed at this rally on the front steps of Portland City Hall. Homeless support groups are calling on the city for some change. Dozens of folks here are protesting the city's removal of homeless encampments like the ones at Bayside Trail and Four River Parkway. Unhoused folks like Eric Farnham say they feel hopeless, especially ahead of Hurricane Lee.
I ain't got no place to go. There's a hurricane coming in. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down to the beach and sleep on the beach, I guess. I ain't got no place to go.
Shout out to my boss who is not here. Rally co-organizer Jess Valero says cleaning out the homeless camps is making the issue worse.
I would say that sweeping unhoused people from the home that they've tried to build in a two-person tent on the side of the road is counterproductive to solving the problem and actually creates more trauma for folks.
Another organizer says getting people inside is the first step to help.
You cannot work on anything else in your life when your shelter's being impeded. So the first issue that needs to be taken care of is a person needs to be under a roof.
In a statement, Portland spokesperson says, quote, the city respects everyone's rights to their opinion and ability to protest. However, it's important to note that we do not arbitrarily sweep encampments. Rather, we follow our administrative policies. Farham says he needs more help.
I just feel I'm discouraged, you know. I almost feel like I have to relapse right now to get help. That's not right.
Rally organizers say that they have been in contact with the city regarding this issue, but they want to spark more conversations. In Portland, Asia Reed, CBS 13 News.
Turning to our Vote 2024 coverage, while President Biden's nomination to be the Democratic nominee in 2024 looks all but a sure thing, right? There are still some challenges ahead. Scott Thimmon looks at what may be in the way.
Should Hunter get a pardon, Mr. President?
Besieged with questions about his son, Hunter Biden's indictment, the president's problems piling up.
And would the president pardon or commute his son if he's convicted?
So I've answered this question before, and I was very clear, and I said no.
The criminal gun charges follow House Republicans' decision to start an impeachment inquiry into the president for still unproven allegations he engaged in inappropriate or possibly illegal overseas business dealings with his son. More troubling, indicators his support is very soft. 51% of Democrats who plan to vote for Biden in the primary say they might change their mind, even though he's not currently facing a strong opponent. After 4 years of fact-checking Donald Trump's false claims, the media now pointing out Biden's too, most recently stating he was in New York City the day after 9/11.
This president has a pattern at this point of either inventing or embellishing stories about his own past.
Like previously claiming he witnessed a Pennsylvania bridge collapse, was arrested in a civil rights protest, visited a mass shooting site, even drove an 18-wheeler for a job. Biden's saving grace, though, could be an economic rebound.
For the first time in a long time, we've climbed out of our great economic crisis.
A potential political lifeline, since voters often let their pocketbooks lead the way. But if so-called Bidenomics takes a turn for the worse, so could his 2024 chances.
Bidenomics isn't working, but it's making working families put in more overtime.
Whether it's the economy or his age, Biden is taking hits. But when it comes to the impeachment inquiry, Democrats are hoping that'll fail, reflect poorly on Republicans, and give Biden the boost he sorely needs. In Washington, I'm Scott Thuman.
Up next, bracing for Lee, how Mainers up and down the coast have been preparing, with the storm now just a couple hours away.
And we're mulling over some new information coming in from the National Hurricane Center on still Hurricane Lee. It will be changing by morning, though. We'll take a look at how strong the winds will get here and when to expect some sun for some outdoor plans this weekend. That's coming up next.
Mother Nature may be tough. I'm tougher. I'll take you where chaos is the cost of entry and where the fish are worth the fight. Because the bigger the question marks, the better the quest.
We've been saying Mainers up and down the coast have been preparing for the arrival of Hurricane Lee, and as Charlie said, still a hurricane. Those outer bands of the storm could bring 40 to 60 miles per hour winds along the mid-coast. 10 to 20-foot waves also expected. Could cause significant beach erosion. In Rockland, crews have been working really at a frantic pace, pulling boats out of the water ahead of this storm.
It's been wicked busy. We've moved about 140 boats in the past 5 days. We've done basically 6 weeks of work in 5 days.
Pretty frantic pace. Owners of several sailboats and smaller vessels say they do plan to keep their boats on their moorings. They do plan to ride out the storm there. Homeowners we spoke with worrying most about those powerful winds that could topple trees and snap tree limbs onto power lines.
Put the boat away, and I'm going to put my roadster out back and cover that over the top and, put away the furniture and just batten down the hatches, really.
We'll have a crew in Rockland Saturday and Sunday to report on the impact and aftermath of the storm from the mid-coast and Penobscot Bay as well. Let's go ahead and check in on down East Maine. The shores of Winter Harbor quiet today. Restaurants had their deck furniture tied down. Boats were up on land. In Lemoyne, the fire department had generators and clean water on standby. Again, more in the bullseye down east there. They say they're ready for pretty much anything, which for them they say is business as usual.
Made sure that all the equipment was operating. That includes generators, chainsaws, pumps. We have several sump pumps if people's basements get flooded.
Now in Machias, even further down east, the University of Maine campus there is fully evacuated. All faculty, staff, students evacuated. The school was closed today. In fact, it'll stay that way tomorrow as well. Let's take a live look here at some of the pictures that people have been sending in. Or I shouldn't say live. We're looking at them live. This was taken earlier, obviously, at sunset. Just some beautiful images out there. We got a lot of images, actually, of the sunset tonight. Thankfully, because of the storm actually kicking up these colors. Normally we say red sky at night, it's a sailor's delight, but that's when the weather usually comes from the west.
Yep.
Not the case right now, Charlie. This is coming in from the east. And I should mention, Monty Orrick, our photojournalist, took this photo. Just a stunning image, and we had a lot of those tonight.
Yeah, well done. Nice photo there from Monty. We are looking at Lee. Greg did a great description right there. The storm moving in out of the east right there. Typically our weather moves from west to east, right? And that's why when we usually get a red sky at night, it's sailor's delight, but it's the opposite this time around. We have a storm on our doorstep here, and the major difference over the last couple of hours, it took a little jog off to the east. See that little jump right there? Winds are still 80 miles per hour. It's looking very ragged. It's no longer a tropical system, or it's no longer a true tropical system, at least. Hurricane Center says, yes, it is, but look at that. It looks like a nor'easter, doesn't it? Well, at the very least, the Hurricane Center says it's going to be a post-tropical system tomorrow morning, so it'll no longer be Hurricane Lee. It'll be post-tropical cyclone Lee. What does that mean? Well, just about nothing to us, because we're going to get the wind from it associated from this winds expanding outward from the center. We'll talk more about that in a moment here. Notice the rainfall is not that far away. And I'll tell you, we're not going to get much rain at all. Those of you along southern and coastal zones, you might get a little bit of rain overnight, and then it's going to dry up. Most of western and southern Maine will get a decent amount of sun during the afternoon tomorrow. So tomorrow is just mostly cloudy and windy for most of the area. There's that area of low pressure. There's what's left of this point of Lee. Lee is expanding. The wind field is expanding. The western edge is getting eaten up by some of the dry air. The dry air we have in place right now is really helping things out. That's the nice air mass that made an appearance yesterday, was with us today. Felt like September for a change. And it's also eating away at the rainfall. So power outages are expected tomorrow. I think we'll get frequent gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. And there probably will be peak gusts that get over 50 miles per hour. That's enough for outages. Waves will be running 10 to 20 feet. Notice our storm system pulling up into the Bay of Fundy here and eventually pulling away during the nighttime hours tomorrow. We'll actually get into a lot of sunshine on Sunday. Sunday is going to be a beautiful day. I can't stress that enough. We'll be in the mid to upper 70s. It's about as good as it gets. In the near term, let's focus in on tomorrow first. Wind is going to lead our headlines. Most areas get frequent gusts, 40 to 50 miles per hour. There probably will be some spots that get a few gusts over 50 miles per hour, especially mid-coast, central Maine, and down east Maine. Also, areas in elevation, you stand chances for getting over 50 miles per hour as well. Those of you that have northerly exposures, like a big fetch, like for instance, Cape Elizabeth right here, you get a fetch that comes in. off of Casco Bay. And the same thing with Sebago Lake. You get on the south side of the lake, maybe over towards Standish, you're going to have a longer fetch for that wind to build up on in the lake right there. So there could be some localized, more widespread outages in some of those spots that do get some stronger winds. Frequent gusts over 40 miles per hour should be expected here during the morning hours. More of the same, 11 a.m. We're already seeing gusts right around 60 miles per hour. Those of you over toward Mid-Coast Maine. And the wind starts to die down late afternoon and evening. I think as soon as we make it to about 6, 7 o'clock, that wind will start to improve significantly. Here we are, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. We're introducing, well, some dry air into this rainfall. It's having a hard time making any headway west. That's 7:30 in the morning. Notice some sunny breaks already as soon as midday. Even in Portland, I think the sun's going to break out at some point during the afternoon. So it might be one of those weird days where the wind is gusting over 40 miles per hour. It's raining from Penobscot Bay east. The sun's out over western and southern Maine. And we're looking at power outages. So it's kind of an odd day in that sense that there'll be a variety of conditions just in the cloud cover alone. So tomorrow, we'll just call it mostly cloudy. I think there'll be some wet weather overnight into early tomorrow morning. Not much. Southern Maine, western Maine, you might get 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of rain. Those of you mid-coast Maine and down east, probably 1 inch to 2 inches of rain. So rain is not an issue for most of the area. The wind will, though. We'll get air temps around 70 degrees, and we'll get gusts out of the north, 40 to 50 miles per hour. Peak wind gusts may get a little bit higher, especially over eastern zones. Hey, Sunday looks fantastic. Monday, we have some more rain moving in. I don't think that's a big storm, though. And Greg, it looks great after that.
Who knew it would take a big storm to sort of clear out the stuffy, muggy weather we've had for the last couple of weeks and finally turn nice?
Most humid September on record going back to 1948. Wow. So it's nice to get the drier air at least.
One more reminder, full coverage throughout the day tomorrow. Charlie and I will be there. Meantime, though, that's it for the news and weather tonight. But Davey, he's just getting started tonight. Another edition of Friday Night Lights. Dave, as always, take it away.
All right, Greg, thanks so much. Coming right up on week 3 of Ware Butler's Friday Night Lights, longtime rivals Thornton Academy and Bonnie Eagles squaring off in Standish tonight. How the Trojans look golden when it mattered most. Next on FNF.
Hi, Kevin Gardner at Patriot Subaru, Service Manager. Along with 2 other service managers, Paul and Glenn, we have a team of over 50 people in our service and parts department. We're very fortunate to be in the position we are, serving so many customers every day. Without you, there's no Patriot Subaru. Knowledgeable advisors who work with you when you drive in. Highly skilled techs who diagnose and fix things right. We lace them up and keep things rolling. Patriot Subaru, Saco, Maine.
CBS 13 Sports presents Friday Night Lights with Dave Eade, sponsored by Ware Butler Building Supply.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to week 3 of Ware Butler's Friday Night Lights. I'm Dave Eade. Thanks so much for tuning in. You know, since 2004, Bonnie Eagle and Thornton Academy have combined to win 12 Class A state championships, 7 from the Scots, 5 from the Golden Trojans. Tonight they would meet in Standish again. Trojans looking for win number 1 on the season. Opening drive, Bonnie Eagle 3rd and goal on the 5. Terrell Edwards, the shuffle pass to Kyle Blaney for the touchdown. 7-0 Scots after the PAT. Back come the Trojans. Wyatt Benoit going deep for Xander Cantera, who makes a spectacular grab. The ball was nearly picked off by Brant Abbott, but we're tied at 7 after that wild play. Second quarter, TA going to the air again. It's Wyatt Benoit finding a wide open Jackson Parody, a 76-yard touchdown strike, 14-7 Trojans, but the Scots would answer, and it's Terrell Edwards, the touchdown strike here to Brant Abbott. But Thornton Academy comes back in the second half with 2 touchdowns to win it, 28-14. The surprising Sanford Spartans back home tonight, taking on South Portland. Second quarter, South Portland down 19-6. Red Riots will pound it in. Matthew Frey with the touchdown. Riots back in it, down 6 after the PAT. Third quarter, Spartans marching downfield and into the end zone. Carter Mills taking it in for 6, 25-13 Sanford. Riots on the Sanford one, now 4th and goal, but the Spartans defense would hold tight as Sanford gets the win tonight. 31-20 was your final. The undefeated and defending Class C state champion Leavitt Hornets traveling south to take on York tonight. Hornets already up 7-0 in the first. Number 34, Maddox Demers, taking it in for the touchdown. 14-0 Leavitt. Later, Hornets would strike again. A little pitch to Demers, and he's going to do the rest. Leavitt pulling away at that point. York trying to hang in there. And Peter Martin would come up with a touchdown strike here to Ben Brown. Look at this catch from Ben Brown. But Leavitt would go to 3-0 with a 63-13 win. The Deering Rams off to a 2-0 start for the first time in a long time, hosting the Biddeford Tigers. Scoreless in the first. Rams defensive end Pedro Lambi with a huge tackle in the backfield for a 5-yard loss. Second quarter now, still scoreless. Tigers going to the air. Gino Mariello going long for Owen Sylvain. The huge gainer, but the drive would stall. Rams back on offense, but the Tigers D breaking through. Maverick White with the big sack just before halftime. Tigers punting. Deering's Joey Foley making some moves and turning it in to a spectacular return, taking it all the way to the Biddeford 6-yard line. The Rams would go on to win it tonight 6-0. They're now 3-0 on the season. There's a real buzz on Stevens Avenue.
A lot of people are surprised that we're actually winning games. We've had a few kids join the team, this week. But it's a lot different. Teachers coming out telling us we're doing great, just keep working. A lot of kids really surprised that we're winning, so hopefully we'll have more kids at games, fans. So.
All right, before we hit the break, time to check out our fans in the stands. Big crowd in Standish tonight to watch the Bonnie Eagle Thornton Academy showdown. Fans having a great time. Certainly felt like fall out there. If you have a photo from the games you'd like to air right here on FNL, just head to our website, WGME.com/chime in. Still to come on Friday Night Lights, the Marshwood Hawks looking to soar past the Rams in G-Town tonight. All the big runs and big throws when Friday Night Lights returns right after this.
Hi, my name's Brendan Scully. I'm the head football coach at Deering. You're watching Friday Night Lights.
From festivals to fall leaves, there are plenty of reasons Sevierville should top your fall travel list. Learn more at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Sleep more deeply and wake up rejuvenated. Purple Mattress's exclusive Gel Flex Grid draws away heat, relieves pressure, and instantly adapts. Sleep better. Live Purple. Visit purple.com or a mattress store near you.
The all-new Ergo Smart Base from Tempur-Pedic automatically responds to snoring. So no more hiding under your pillow, because this system actually detects snoring, then adjusts to help reduce it. For a limited time, save up to $700 on select Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets.
This October,
Thank you so much for coming in.
one of television's biggest franchises
You have my attention.
finds a new home.
Now we're here for you.
On Charge.
Like that.
Law and Order Criminal Intent. Every weeknight.
Guys, we're going to have to check this whole perimeter.
In prime time.
We turn up the pressure, drive them into our arms.
Right where it belongs. Law and Order Criminal Intent. Premiering October 2nd. On Charge.
Wow.
This October,
Thank you so much for coming in.
one of television's biggest franchises
You have my attention.
finds a new home.
Now we're here for you.
On Charge.
Like that.
Law and Order Criminal Intent. Every weeknight.
Guys, we're going to have to check this whole perimeter.
In prime time.
We turn up the pressure, drive them into our arms.
Right where it belongs. Law and Order Criminal Intent. Premiering October 2nd. On Charge.
Wow.
Friday Night Lights on CBS 13 is sponsored by Ware Butler Building Supply.
And welcome back to Friday Night Lights. The Marshwood Hawks have won 6 of the last 8 Class B state championships tonight, looking for win number 2, taking on the Rams in Gorham. What a game this was. Rams up 14-13 in the third. Gorham QB Isaac Young finding Cam Martell for 6. 20-13 Gorham. Back comes Marshwood. Quarterback Tyler Hussey with a keeper around the end and into the end zone. Hawks tied at 20. Back and forth we go. Isaac Young again with the keeper. Plows in for the touchdown. But Marshwood comes back to win a thriller tonight. 30-27 was your final. Class B South Showdown in Westbrook tonight. The Blazes in Kennebuck. Rams up 21-0 in the third. Westbrook trying to get back in it. The Blazes defense forcing a fumble. But on the very next play, the Rams would get it back. They would drive it downfield. Austin West turning the corner, taking it down the sidelines to the Westbrook 11-yard line. A few plays later, and West will head east and take it in for the touchdown. Kennebuck up 28-0. Rams go to 3-0 with a 35-0 win. Interesting crossover game between Skowhegan and Bangor tonight. Second half, Riverhawks with a third down play here. Jason Aubin to Trevor Austin, but he gets stopped short of the first down. Back come the Rams. Jack Shuck rolling out, finds Damian Mascala for the touchdown. Rams go on to win it 42-0. We head to Brewer now. The Witches hosting Madomic Valley in a Class C North battle. Pick it up in the second half. Madomic Valley up 2 scores. They hand off to Aaron Reed, and he takes a couple of Witches with him, humbling his way for the first down. Third quarter now. Ball back in the hands of quarterback Chase Peasley, and he delivers a dime to Gabe Lash along the sideline. That big throw would set up this touchdown run from Peasley. That put the Panthers up 30-0. They go on to win it by a 30-6 final. And our final stop takes us to Orono. A rarity, we've got college football in FNL. Rhode Island taking on Maine. URI's Kasem Hill to Katero Summers for the touchdown. 10-7 Rams. Next drive for Maine, though. The star freshman Tristan Kennan on the run. Nice move. Goes in for 6. Maine on 14-10. Next drive, though, and it's again Hill finding Summers for the touchdown. Rhode Island pulls away for a 34-17 win. Finally tonight, our light of the night. We go back to the Biddeford-Deering showdown. Look at this throw and catch from Biddeford's Gino Mariella and Jaden Agosto. A spectacular grab. He held on for the catch. That was your Ware Butler's light of the night. And that's going to do it for week 3 of Friday Night Lights. From all of us here at CBS 13, I'm Dave Ead. Thanks so much for watching. Be safe out there this weekend. Make sure to tune in to CBS 13's wall-to-wall coverage on Lee beginning tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Until then, have a great weekend, everyone.